Hi, this is Gurasi Singh, and you're listening to my Thick Accent podcast. There is an Asian proverb that says the worth of a man's life is not in the number of things he has, but in the number of lives he impacts along the way. And my guest today embraces this quote and encourages people to follow it too. She moved from Nigeria to Canada in 2020. She has a decade of experience working in various industries, including healthcare infrastructure, information technology, and non-for-profit. She has worked with WHO and UNICEF and is also one of the top 50 project management leaders of 2020. Let's hear more from her about her journey. Please welcome Azeezat.
Thank you very much, Gracias, for the opportunity to speak on your podcast today. Yeah, so like you rightly introduced me, my name is Azeezat, and I work in the IT field. But before I got into the core technology, I have worked in international development, which is actually working for non-profit organizations, including the United Nations. And like you mentioned, I've worked for the WHO and I've also worked for UNICEF, which are both United Nations organizations, before I moved to Canada. And here in Canada, I have been, I decided to go more into the tech field and I'm enjoying it. And
So it's awesome. Thank you for that brief introduction, Azeezat. So before we talk more about your professional experiences and your transitioning into the IT field, I remember you told me that before you moved, you visited Canada, but you end up staying here.
Okay, so I never had the intention of relocating to Canada. I just wanted a plan B, which is an option because I really like traveling. And I know that with a permanent resident, I could at least travel to Canada without applying for a visa, right? So that is what I did. And I applied, I went through the express entry process to get my residency, and I usually visited Canada. But because of other situations in Nigeria, I started thinking of relocating to Canada, which I tried to do in 2019, but I still went back. Then in 2020, I took leave and decided to come over to Canada and stayed for a longer period of time and see things for myself. So I came and I actually gave myself a maximum of 1 year to stay. So I took a 1 year leave. I wasn't sure whether I was going to stay for the 1 year or not. But eventually, I stayed for the 1 year. I wanted to go back, which I actually did. But God bless my supervisor who called me, sat me down and asked me exactly what I was trying to do with my life, right? And because of my marriage constraints, because my spouse is not also in Nigeria, and the insecurity issue was increasing by the day, and I've also, shared with him my concerns with my 2 children and all of that. And so then he told me, okay, for me to get my citizenship in Canada, I need to stay for 3 years. And if I had been able to stay a whole year, so he asked me, so are you going to throw this year away? Because if I now, stay in Nigeria again, it means I was going to lose that 1 year and start counting again. So he said, are you going to throw this 1 year away? A whole 1 year? Then I said, okay. Then I decided to come back and stay.
Yes, I think that is an ideal choice to make. Already 1 year you have spent, so why not to stay another 2 and take that chance to get the citizenship. Awesome. And like you said, before you move, you did work with WHO as an immunization team lead, and then you worked as a project manager with UNICEF. Tell us more about your roles and how did you get into these opportunities?
Okay, so I am from a very humble family, and back in Nigeria, people believe that before you can get to work in those kind of organizations, you need to know people. But I tell you, and this is what even my close friends do not believe, I didn't know anybody. The only thing I knew then was the full meaning of UNICEF, the full meaning of United Nations, which we did in primary schools for current affairs, right?
Of
So
course,
apart
yeah.
from that, I didn't have an idea what exactly these people are doing, and but I've had intention of impacting lives. I am somebody
Mm,
that wants to see myself helping other people, but I had not figured it out what exactly or how I was going to achieve that. But I realized as I moved on that these organizations are into impacting lives, and there are
mhm,
platforms where I can, leverage upon to showcase my
mm,
skills and help people and make people happy and create a better place or a better world for everyone. So when I saw the role just on the internet advertised, and I applied, and that time okay, for the WHO, I did that before the UNICEF. So for the
mhm.
WHO, there is this immunization program that is being done every month. So I applied. The first time I went for the assessment, I passed the assessment and I wasn't invited to work. Then I
Mm,
accused the interviewer, like the person was actually like the regional team lead for the project or something like that. And
okay.
I accused him, like, so how could I score this high and you didn't invite me? What happened? So
Mhm.
he was actually like, so who are you? Like, who, are you kidding me? Like, you have the guts to come ask me why were you not selected or something like that? And I said, yes, I think I deserve to know, right? I deserve to know so that I could correct myself, in the future. Then he said I shouldn't worry. I should come again for the next month assessment, and if I do well, that I was going to be selected, and that was what I did. So when I came the next
Wow.
week for the assessment, he kept looking at me, and but one thing about me is I didn't, because of that, relent on my preparations. I still
Mm,
ensure that I even scored more than what I scored previously, and he had no
mm,
choice than to give me the opportunity. And that was how I came in. That was how I got into that role. And it was a monthly thing. It was a contract, which I was always, the
mhm,
first time I wasn't the team lead, but because of my performance and the way I did the
mm.
work, I became the team lead, and I did that till I left that location. Then I came back to UNICEF to now apply for a fixed term role.
Mm. Can you tell us more about the interview? Like, how was the interview?
Yes, it's a written test. It's a written test where they ask us. It's a long time ago, right? But I
Mhm,
remember vividly. We did like a case study of a community where you want to go and intervene, like, because there was a lot of resistance, so it wasn't just about knowing how to give the immunization or the vaccines, but the
mhm,
community engagement part of it, because they wanted
mm,
people who could actually talk to the community members, to talk to them on what the immunization is for, to correct the myths, because in that area, people believe that when children are immunized, they are not able to have many children. Let me just put it that way. So so that was a belief around that place, and it's there were a lot of missed children, missed kids in those households. So they needed people who could go into the buildings, like go into the houses, meet the head of the house, and discuss with them what they were there for. So I am naturally a communicator, and I was able to do well in that. Then the
mhm,
technical part of it, but the technical part of it is not actually wasn't actually the main thing. Like, it wasn't actually the main thing, because there were nurses who would actually do that, right? But they needed
mhm,
people who could make the community members bring out the children. Because one thing
mm,
is to know how to, give the immunization. Another thing is to even see children to give it to, right? So they needed people who could actually do community engagement. And so there was a case study of a community where you got there, everybody decided to lock their doors. So what were you supposed to
Mhm.
do at that time? So yeah, so it was like a case study, and I wrote it and also presented it. I think that was basically a large chunk of the interview process for that one.
Mm.
And for my the other role, which is a full-time fixed term role, it was series of assessments, up to three. The first one was a written exam, including testing skills like skills in international development, specifically nutrition, maternal and child nutrition, skills in Excel, data skills, data analysis skills, then community engagement skills, and and your passion. They just want to see somebody who
Mm.
wouldn't be doing the job because they just needed a job. They needed somebody. So there were a lot of behavioral questions associated with that, right?
Okay.
Because it is not everybody that is willing to give themselves out, because these jobs are jobs that, even though you are working 9 to 5, but there are times you have to travel on the weekends. There are times that your family will need you, and these people would also need you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they need somebody who could juggle that and balance their own life. Somebody that is self-aware, because when you go into the community, people are not happy, and you are coming with something else. Sometimes, like the program that I started with, which is the nutrition program that I started with in Nigeria, we
Mhm.
were doing like malnutrition prevention and treatment or management. But these
Okay.
people were always complaining that this is not what we need. But they actually needed
Mm.
that, right? So how are
Mm.
you able to convince them? How do you explain to them that we are not here to hurt you, right? So when people are angry about their leaders who is not doing well to them, like political leaders, but when you come from an organization to support with maybe infrastructure or something like that, they transfer
Yeah.
the aggression on you, right? So you need to be self-aware to understand that this is how to receive those kind of communication, and this is how to communicate back. So those were a chunk of things that I was tested around. And even on the job, I discovered that working in those kind of organizations means that you
Mhm.
are not just a person, because you feel you're brilliant, you're intelligent, you're this, but when you get into your office, or when you get to see
Mhm.
your colleagues, then you ask yourself again, like, how is this organization selecting these people? Like, but when you now think about yourself, then you remember, oh, no wonder, right? So I had an interview last week, and this discussion came up, right? This discussion actually came up. I said, I understand what you're saying, because they were telling me that, oh, in their organization, they try to select people that are this, because of what, everybody is happy here. Some people have spent like 10 years, some people have spent 20 years. When I joined UNICEF, and when I see people's emails, like people that are retiring, maybe somebody's last day, somebody's last week, I see people that have spent 25 years, 33 years. I'm like, what is going on? Until I experience it myself. The environment you work, the people you work with, we are all passionate about our job, and there is intrinsic motivation from everybody, which makes the work, that is why you are even asking me to tell you about it, right? Because everybody
Exactly.
knows
Yeah.
around the world,
It's
like,
fascinating.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, but it is the people. It is the people. It is the people that they have brought together. They don't just bring anybody to come work there. Everybody in that organization are passionate about what they do. They want to do it till they die. For me,
Mm.
I found it very difficult to leave my job and come to Canada. Like, I miss my job every day, no matter the
Mm.
departments you are. So when I cross into the IT, it's still the same thing, and that now gave me the opportunity to support every department. Like, moving from nutrition to IT. As an IT person, I was now like supporting nutrition, education, health, HIV. So it gave me that
Mhm.
opportunity to now help more people and see more programs and more people being impacted.
Hmm. Love that. I mean, thank you for sharing that, because like you said, there is so much curiosity in people to know, who might be there, who really want to help, want to create an impact, but just not aware how to really get into such organizations. Tell me something, Aziza, that you have learned from this UNICEF job that has stayed with you up until today. Tell me this one thing or anything that you would like to share.
One thing that I like to share is one. There are a lot of things to share. I'm just trying to figure out what would be more beneficial to everyone, and that you can use in any field you are working or
Hmm.
anywhere you are, and that is one of the core skills for the UN, which is working with people.
Hmm.
Working with people. Before I joined UNICEF, I wasn't very bad. But after joining UNICEF, I discovered that no, if you don't know how to work with people, you have not started living the world. Like you have not started on the journey of success.
Yeah.
Because that is an organization that brings everybody together. Like if you look right, you see a white person. If you look left, you see a brown person. If you face your front, you see a short man. If you look at your back, you see somebody who doesn't understand your language at all. And if you decide
Hmm.
to move, you start perceiving food from different country, like maybe a lot of garlic that you don't eat in your own house, or a lot of chicken aroma. So, if you are not patient or you don't know how to work with people, you cannot thrive there. And if you don't know
Hmm.
and not ready to learn, you cannot thrive there. And that is what actually happens around the world. For us as immigrants who have moved to Canada, if you don't know how to work with people, you can't thrive here. And that
Yeah.
is why I've seen a lot of people, coming down to Canada and saying, oh, there are no jobs in Canada. There are no good jobs in Canada. It's only the care jobs that you can do. No,
Hmm.
it is you. It is because you have not worked on yourself, because you don't know how to work with people, because everything some people see is complaint. But for me, I take the complaint or the challenge, turn it to suit myself, you know? So now that you are here, even though you've not had the opportunity to learn how to work with people and all of that, all you need to do is to just sit down and look at yourself, look at the environment. What is the gap for me? What is the gap for me? And if you don't accept the reality now, you will just delay accepting the reality, which is going to be affecting you over the years. You have to accept that reality. Where is my gap? For us as immigrants, we complain that, oh, a lot of things are happening around racism, all of that, all of that. But there are still immigrants that are thriving here.
Yeah.
There are still colored people of color who are doing very well, and those percentages are even large. Why not follow those? Why not be optimistic that, oh, this person has come and
Hmm.
done well, I'm going to do well too, right? Why follow the fine? There are a lot of things to be changed. We cannot work on things to be changed, but
Yeah.
I don't like finding, I don't like meeting people who are, like sitting somewhere and always reaffirming the negativities and not doing anything about
Hmm.
it. Okay, when we started applying for jobs, or when we got here, people started saying that employers would ask for Canadian experience.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so now things have changed because
Hmm.
some people proved that that statement is incorrect. Because, okay, what is Canadian experience? It is just working with people.
Yeah.
It is working with people. If it is the technical skill, it's the same thing everywhere. If you are a software developer here, you are also a software developer anywhere. If you are a teacher here, you're also a teacher anywhere. But the only thing we are lacking, or some people are lacking, is that skills of working with people from different backgrounds, diverse people, right? So that is where the gap is. And now, if you're able to prove yourself, like, okay, even though I just came to Canada, I don't have the Canadian experience, but I can work with people because I have international experience. right?
Hmm.
That is all you need to
Yeah.
say. Because, like, for my country in Nigeria, we have about 400 and something tribes. I mean, languages that people speak. 400 and
Yeah.
something languages that people speak. And you've been able to
Exactly.
work with at least maybe 200 of these people while you were growing up. So you have already
Hmm.
worked with diverse people.
Yeah.
But if you don't say that, nobody knows that, right? So I think working with people means understanding who that person is or what people are doing, understanding yourself, you know, knowing that this is my boundary, this is this person's boundary, and finding a balance between. You know, we don't have to be extreme, like you are 100% good or you are 0% not good, right? We just have to find a
Hmm.
balance, and everybody can thrive, everybody can laugh, everybody can smile, and the world can be a better place.
Aziza, these are such powerful lines that you have said. I'll mention this one thing you said about change. That is so true. People are always seeking change. Oh, I need change in my life. I want to change my job. But that will not happen if they will not put the effort in changing their attitudes, changing themselves. That's really essential. Then only that change will happen in their life. And the other thing you said is working with people. I think you have articulated it so perfectly that yes, it is all about working with people in Canada. Uh, like I know there are some people who were let go from their jobs just because they were not cultural fit to the companies, not because they were not good at technical skills. They were just not cultural fit. So working with people is definitely one thing one has to keep in their mind when they're working in Canada. So yes, you said it very right. I actually want to take you back to the time when you first came to Canada. Tell me about the first day. What was going on in your mind?
So when I was coming to visit and when I came to
Hmm.
stay, I had different things in my mind, right? So when I came to stay, okay, when I came in 2020, that is what I will use. So when I came in 2020, before I came, I am somebody that is very organized. I plan a lot. I have my things figured out, right? Like if you ask me today, like, can I see you on Tuesday? I already
Hmm.
know the time that I'm available for you on Tuesday. Like I I have everything planned out, right? I am
Okay.
not perfect. That doesn't mean there are times that have little itches here and there, but I do plan things. So before I came in 2020, even though I was planning to come and stay for 1 year, I had planned a lot of things. I had
Mm.
planned. So before I came, I got a place to stay. Before I came, I got a daycare for my child. Before I came, I got a business. Before I came, I incorporated my business. Before so like I
Mm.
had all of that. And so when I came, okay, the incorporation, I didn't submit it. I came in on 17th. I submitted it, I think, on 18th. It came out on 21st.
Mhm.
So when I came that time, because I was on leave from my UN job.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to do another job, but I could do
Okay.
an employment by myself. I could do my own business. So that was what I wanted to do, or that was what I decided to do. And it was during COVID. So as I was coming, everything on my head is because I'm into healthy eating, like I'm a certified health coach. And I also feel like, okay, this is another area. I have actually researched and saw that this is also a need in Canada that if I try to embark on, I was going to also be fine in terms of financial stability. So I contracted my website design, I've done a lot of things, right? And
Mm.
I've joined groups in Canada and I've started advertising myself. I wrote books and I've changed. I had a website that I was using for Nigerian clients, and because I wanted to work with the Canadians, I had to change my website because
Mhm.
they like working with people, right? So I had to
Yeah.
build a new website. So as I was coming, everything on my head was the next thing to do was to get retail stores to accept my products because I was going into food packaging and all of that. So
Mhm.
I also booked for seminars and webinars in terms of the regulations and all of that. So I was studying a lot. I was studying the atmosphere, the business, and I was working on what I could work on. And at after about 3 weeks, I got my first product samples, which were healthy snacks. I had contacted
Mhm.
stores who have actually decided, asked me to bring samples for them.
Okay.
Um, so that was the line I was planning to go, but because of COVID, and I came in with a 2 year and a 4 year old, it wasn't an easy
Mhm.
thing. So when about three stores contacted me to supply them, then I thought about it. I didn't have a car. I, sometimes when you are too smart,
Yeah.
you would discover that you were running too fast, right? So I discovered I was running too fast because I didn't have a car, I didn't have a help. There was COVID, even though I had the opportunity to go to the day to take my kids to the daycare, there wasn't any daycare that was opened. Then the older child who was in
Mm.
KG was doing her classes online. So tell me, where do I put those children to go and supply anything? So
Yeah.
then when the demand was also high, I discovered that no, I would need more hands to do this work, and let me start working on something else. So that time I paused it. Then I started working on my license and getting a car and you know
Mm.
and buying a house and all of that. Then I stopped the product packaging. Then I moved into the coaching itself. So I was doing
Mm.
so because that one I could do it online. I didn't need to go out, right? So
Yeah.
then I now started just the education part of it, and I was selling my courses online and all of that for that 1 year. So when I towards the end of that year, I was thinking I wanted to go back to Nigeria, and I decided to invest in a property in Canada. Then my sister was also now coming, so I wanted to like, okay, let me have the property, then I can visit and still be able to count my days for my citizenship while I
Mhm.
am working. And my job is actually pretty flexible. I could do some remote job from here. So
Okay.
actually, I resumed in October
Mhm.
remotely. I resumed in October remotely. Then in January I had to go, but while trying to buy a house, I didn't get anything in Toronto where I was, so I came to Ottawa. So that was
Okay.
why I moved to Ottawa, and yeah, and I discovered that the kids also need me more, and all of that. So I decided to get a paid employment. So since January, I've been into paid employment and doing my business. I took my business down to like 25%, but
Mm.
doing my 9 to 5. Yeah.
Okay, so you did talk about the holistic health business, and one thing I remember we were discussing about is the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude towards the problem, and you were giving me the example of one of your clients who worked as a nurse. Can you tell us about that example, and what can one learn from it?
Okay, so I am somebody that has many titles. And it depends on what I'm showcasing at that time or what I want to showcase. So as a health coach, I practice holistic health coaching, where I support people to live a healthy life. And when you're talking about healthy life, for me, it is different from healthy life for you. And it is also different for healthy life for another person. So I do not define exactly what I'm doing for you until I
Hmm.
meet with you to assess your situation. So, and
Okay.
like you mentioned, um, I have coming from Nigeria. The belief system is that when you are slim, you are healthy. So
Hmm.
I was working with more of people who wanted to lose weight. So they called me the weight loss guru and all of that because I personally lost about 130 pounds by myself.
Wow.
So
Mm.
Yeah, so because of that, when people see my before and after pictures, they come on, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. But when I talk to them, for some people, it is not the weight loss that was going to make them healthy.
Mm,
You know, so when we call something primary food and secondary food,
mhm,
our primary food is actually what makes us full. That is what actually feed us. But our secondary foods are everything we cook and eat, and we think they are food. They are actually food, but they are just secondary. For example,
mhm,
as a young child, if you have kids, right? If you have like a two,
mhm,
3 year old kid around,
mhm.
when they are playing, they don't remember to eat. Especially when they are
Yeah.
playing games, they don't remember to eat. The excitement, or maybe they when they're watching cartoons, they don't remember to eat. You have to call them. My, are you not going to eat your food? Oh, it's time to eat. Is it, you as a parent has that responsibility of inviting them to come and eat and using a
Yeah.
lot of stuff to entice them to the food, right? Why? Do you think they are not hungry? Do you think it's because the food is not delicious? No. It's because the joy from the games that they played or the excitement from the cartoons that they are watching actually gives them joy more than the
Hmm.
food you want to give them. So for children like that, that is why a lot of mothers complain that their children are not eating. They have picky eaters. They do because these children are full of love. You shower them with love. The father showered love. Grandparents, siblings, teachers. They are 100% fine. They don't have anything to worry about. You are the one thinking of the
Mm.
bills, right? So
Yeah.
they don't think about bills. They are fine. They have everything they want. So because of that, they do not need too much of rice. They do not need too much of bread,
Mm.
right? So that is how I coach people. That is how I support people. So for us as adults, our plate of food is supposed to be filled with joy, you know, career balance, marital balance, beauty, if that is, because some people are concerned about their outlook, right?
Yeah.
If they are having acne on their faces, they will be hungry, they are not happy.
Mm.
So it is not the weight, it is not the healthy eating. It is that fullness and fulfillment in your life
Mm.
that makes you full before the secondary food. So once for a balanced plate, you need all of that plus a little bit of bread, a little bit of meat or fish, then water, then oil before you have a full plate. But
Yeah.
once the other ones are missing, then you have a lot of vegetables and soups and any other thing. You
Mhm.
don't get full even when you eat them. So, and the nutrients in these things are little. So, by the time you eat and you still feel you are hungry, you eat more of them, you eat more of them, you eat more of them.
Yeah.
But they will never make you happy. They will never give you the fulfillment you have. So, as a holistic health coach, I coach from the angle of life balance.
Mm.
Some people would come to me, and what I realize is, for example, the nurse that you're talking about, she actually was, people from outside would see her as somebody doing well because she had a good job. She was being paid well. Her marriage is doing fine. She has two young, vibrant kids,
Mhm.
but she wasn't happy.
Mm.
But she didn't know that she wasn't happy
Mm.
because she's somebody who prefers to have her food planned,
Mhm.
cooked by her, but she had no time to do all of that.
Mhm.
So she was always ordering food to eat. So all the food that they prepare for her, she doesn't really like them. So because she doesn't like them, she eats a lot of them. She doesn't even have time to understand what she was eating.
Mm.
Then I told her, I said, do you know that no matter what I give you, no matter the meal plan I give you, it isn't gonna work? Because you can't even follow it. You can't even do anything with it. No matter the kind of exercise I give you to do, you won't be able to do it because you are not happy. You need to balance your career. At first she didn't believe me,
Mm-hmm.
but after some times into the program, she said, "Okay, Aziza, let me try what you are talking about."
Mm-hmm.
And she did try it, and I'll tell you today, she she did not even she only lost about 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
She only lost about 20 pounds,
Okay.
but she's in a very, very happy place. She's not feeling heavy. Her blood pressure is not high. She sleeps well. She creates time for her family. She's able to prepare her food, and she's doing very fine. She doesn't feel guilty anymore. Before, she's somebody that would say that, "Oh, Aziza, I've eaten throughout today. I've been eating meat pies. I'm not happy. I drank soda." But now she drinks soda as little as she wants to drink, or as much as she wants to drink, and still, go back to what she actually desires to eat that is healthy for her. So that is that part of that part of me. That is how I help people, or I support people in terms of balancing their career. Balancing their lives, because for most people, it is not just focusing on the food. Some people can focus on the food and eat vegetables and use a lot of natural products or whatever to lose the weight, but the weight is going to come back. And if you even lose the weight, it doesn't mean you are now healthy. When you are healthy, it means that your overall life is healthy. You
Mm.
are sleeping well, you are smiling well, your skin is, okay, your mind is okay, you are happy with everybody, and you are able to work with people. Because if you are not
Yeah.
balanced, you can't even work with people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think, Aziza, that is such a nice perspective that you have given us and my listeners. I'm sure they also must be thinking, because in this fast paced environment, when you are busy, earning money and just making a living, you do not really have time to reflect on the day. You don't have time to really see what you have eaten in a day or how you were feeling about it. You are just in that rat race of getting up in the morning, going to the job, coming back home, sleeping, preparing for the next day. You are in that loop, and you do not have any time to really process how your days are actually going. So I think this is something that you have said. One should really take a moment, pause, and reflect on the day and see what had made them happy and what can actually make them happier. So thank you so much for sharing this. I'm sure this is gonna help a lot of people. Thanks for that. So also, is it now, you said in the beginning that you are transitioning into getting into the IT, right? And I remember you also sharing that you are working on this hands-on training program for the people who would like to transition into tech. Tell us more about your transition into tech and about the program that you are working on.
Oh, thank you very much for that. And I think this is a very good time because I started an initiative on LinkedIn, which I had
Mm-hmm.
my first event yesterday. Yeah, so I had my first event yesterday because now that I am in the IT, the core IT project management, I okay, what I've been doing earlier has also been related to IT, which I didn't know. So, like I told you earlier, that I was now transitioning into IT and all of that.
Yeah.
But I discovered that even in my past roles, have been working as a business analyst, but it has never been pronounced that this is what I've been doing. Because there are a lot of areas in tech that are not development, which we never knew that, oh, we are actually doing tech. This is IT. Information technology is not coding. It is moving information from point A to point B, transferring that information, restructuring, transcribing, making it understandable to another set of people,
Mm.
because we are in different phases. of the projects, right? From the sponsor to the stakeholders to the developers to the end users. We are passing the same information, but we need different parts of the information. So everybody in that line has to understand the information. So that is what we are doing. So it's information technology. Once you now use it on a computer, right? So now I discovered that I get a lot of people reaching out to me inbox on LinkedIn, especially like how can I support them to transition into project management or into tech. Some people will tell me their stories. So I've been able to like meet with people one on one, and I've been also supporting people with mock interviews, developing their resumes, and optimizing their LinkedIn profiles. However, I discovered that for me to get that large impact, it is better I start an initiative where I can bring people together. So a part of it will be the monthly events where I've started talking to different people who will be coming on board to speak with my audience. And people have actually started during the event yesterday. People suggested different topics that they would want us to touch, and what I'm doing here is not doing it alone, but doing something for the people and by the people. And in life, one person, and that is leadership, right? One person would be the one to bring up something. That doesn't mean I know everything. I'm not a developer. I'm not an engineer. But there are people out there who are willing to share, but they've not found a platform to support other people. And what I'm doing here is to create that platform where people can come to just get one or two knowledge about what they want to embark on. I know there are a lot of people who are seated back there thinking of, I want to pivot into tech. They said the tech industry is good, is booming. And as an intelligent person, you want to also get yourself into a booming industry so you too can also boom, right?
Exactly.
Nobody is in this world to sit in one place. So, but the faster or the fastest action takers get more benefits, right? so so now if we are now seated there still thinking of, oh, okay, so now there is project management, there is business analysis, there is software development, there is UX/UI designing, there is, so which one do I even go to? There is data analysis. Some people are just there, they don't even know which one to do. So getting a platform where they can hear that this is what suits this particular lifestyle, or this is what you get if you go through this way, this is what you get if you go through this route. People are able to make an informed decision, and that informed decision that one person would make would affect or impact the person's life positively. It will impact the person's spouse's life, the children, and everybody they support out there, everybody they're responsible for. So having a 1 hour event where, for example, 100 people has attended can be a means of impacting lives of 5 million people.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm also looking at this from the development perspective where we focus on where we have a larger population and where the incidence of a particular thing is higher so that you can create more impact. So that is what I'm doing here. And also this is a free event where everybody can attend and I can invite people. And also I'll be having my first cohort for paid training by January, which is what I'm onboarding people for right now. I'm just
Okay.
announcing this for the first time.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, yes, I'm announcing this for the first time. I didn't like, okay, what am I trying to do? There are a lot of people who have been doing this in Canada. You see, people are teaching business analysis, people are teaching project management, people are teaching data analysis and all of that. But I tell you, I've attended some of these trainings too myself, and I've seen a lot of gaps. For example, for example, why do okay, we have what we call product development, which is like from initiation to deployment and even maintenance. So why do I come to your school and you only teach me the development? When I don't even understand the initiation and the basics, right? So I feel that it doesn't make sense. Okay, why would I come to your school and you only teach me stakeholders engagement? So why am I engaging the stakeholder in the first place? Why should I come and you only teach me product management when I still need to know how to facilitate Scrum events?
Mm.
So it makes more sense to have. Okay, maybe I'll go back to my holistic approach. So it makes more sense to have those things taught in a holistic way. Then you are now the one to say that, okay, I'll prefer to go this route, or I'll prefer to go this route. And that is a gap I'm trying to close here, where people will not have to complete this training. You now realize that, oh, I still need to do another one. Then you go for another training. After you do that one, you still realize that, oh, I still don't know this and that, or maybe you still see job JD you cannot apply. People have gone through trainings, and after the trainings, they still see job descriptions and they discover that they are nowhere. Maybe
Mhm.
you've done a training as a project manager, you now see project management roles, and you still cannot apply. You now discover that most of the project management roles would ask for BA skills, which is business analysis, requirement gathering. They're asking for that. And nobody taught you when you were being taught about project management. Then you now start going to register for that to understand what that means. Then after that, you come back again. You start seeing SQL, Power BI, oh my God, Excel. Then you still cannot apply for any job. So, because of this frustration, some people still just go back to where they were coming from.
Mm.
Because it is not everybody that has that resilience to push till they grab what they desire.
Yeah.
It's not everybody. And you can't blame them. When people start seeing all those challenges, so for some people, it is too big for them. They just see, let me just, and this is why we keep saying that we want to support immigrants. Immigrants are this, immigrants are that. No, we are this and we are that. We are the one making things difficult for ourselves. So that is one gap I want to try to close. Have a holistic way to bring people on board into the tech field,
Mhm.
which would, where you will understand. Okay, some people will do trainings and they still don't know how to write resume.
Yeah.
So how do you apply for the jobs? Some people will be trained, they don't know how to go for interviews. So how do they apply for jobs?
Mm.
So the fear is still there. You've not been able to build that confidence in them. You've not been able to introduce them to Canadian environment, the Canadian workspace. What is happening there? What are you supposed to meet when you go for the interview? Okay, for example, I was just thinking about something this morning, like when I get my post inspirations, I was thinking about this communication. In the UK, when you finish buying something at the store and you are checking out, they usually tell you, thank you very much.
Mm.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
But in Canada, they will tell you, have a good one.
Yeah. Have a good day. Yeah.
Have a good one. Right?
Yeah.
They are basically the same thing, but if you have to work in a store
Mhm.
and you start telling people thank you very much, they start looking at you like, where is this person from?
Mm.
And the owner of the store, if they look at you too much and they see that you're not changing, they will rather ask you to go
Mm.
with just that simple thing. I mean, I've just cited that as an example.
Example. Yeah.
So now, if people have paid a lot of money to learn data analysis and this, they have the technical skills.
Mm.
How about supporting them again to build a profile on LinkedIn where recruiters can even see and send them emails to talk to them? Why not, do those? But yeah, so that is one gap I'm trying to close. And like I mentioned, I will be announcing my first cohort. I'm just trying to finalize some things, and I'll be announcing my first cohort. And another thing is to reduce the class sizes of what I've seen out there. A lot of people do this teaching just to, like, having 100 people in class, and you know people are not able to ask personalized questions. some people are not fast learners.
Hmm.
They are not able to get along, and they don't have the chance or the opportunities to get along. So yeah, so
Yeah.
those are the gaps that I've seen. And I want to create that change. I want to make that change happen where people can go for one training and be ready to kickstart their career in IT or project management. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's an amazing. Love the initiative, and I'm sure it's gonna benefit a lot of people. And it is definitely an amalgamation of so many factors, so many things that come into play for a person to succeed in a particular career. It's not just one thing. And also to all my listeners, I'll put the contact details to contact Azeezat and to stay tuned for the program. All the details can be found in the show notes. So now, Azizat, we are in the final segment of the podcast. I call it Beneath the Accent. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. You can answer them in one word or a sentence or however you feel like. The idea is just to know more about you. So my first question is, what advice would you give to Azizat, who is in the initial months of landing in Canada?
I would say just decide to stay.
Okay.
Just decide to stay. Yeah.
Okay. So is there something that you would like to change about yourself?
Yes. Yes. One thing I would like to change about myself is bending my rules for people. Yeah. I am. Yeah. I am. People see me as a strict person, strict, but at times I am not strict. And I don't like the fact that there are places where I'm supposed to now be strict and firm, but I'm so empathetic that I just bend my personal rules and, like talking to people in odd hours,
Mhm.
I just feel like, let me just answer her. But I don't like that about me. Yeah, I need to change that.
Okay. So what's next on your bucket list? Since you have a lot of professional experience, you have tapped into various industries. What's next on your bucket list?
Build a tech startup where I can impact more lives
Hmm.
and be somebody to reckon with in Canadian economy.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To change the world in a blink of an eye.
Mm. Okay. So is there something that you recently buy and you now regret?
No,
No, nothing really. Okay.
wait, no,
Okay.
there is none because I plan like
Of course. Yeah.
yes, I plan, and especially when it comes to my finances, I'm on top of it. So I can't just buy because no, I don't buy because I want to buy and I will now regret. Before I buy, I would have thought it over and over again.
Okay.
Yeah, recently, no.
Okay, if you can ask one question to anybody living or dead, this person could be somebody you admire or you are a fan of. Who would it be?
Yeah, Oprah Winfrey. If I have the opportunity, I have a lot of things to discuss with her.
I'm sure she's not listening right now, but but still, if one thing you can mention, what would you ask her?
I just want to ask her, how is she able to be who she is? That's all. So once I ask that one question, I know I'll hear stories, I'll hear things, I'll learn things, and we'll be able to share. And that is because reading her story, I see that we have some things in common,
Mhm.
but she's way, way older than myself. And I know that there are a lot of challenges or hurdles out there that I'll still meet. So by sharing her story with me, it may give me an opportunity to, I don't usually get people who think like me.
Mhm.
I have a lot of mentors, right?
Mhm.
But there are, so I will have this mentor that I share this part of me with, but I can't share another part of me. Like I used to have a mentor that when I was applying for my UNICEF job,
Mhm.
he would have told me not to apply. But yet, there are other sides of my life where he could actually mentor me properly. But in that side of my life, he is somebody that likes to be in a career and just, or maybe not a career per se, like when he's doing one thing, he just want to face that thing. But my life is not like that. I am not somebody that would just do one thing the way every other person has done it and just continue moving on that way. No, even if I'm doing it, I want to bring on initiative. I want to try something new. I want to, right? So that's my master's. What he was thinking is I should finish my master's, go and do finish my master's, apply for a lecturing job, do a PhD, start doing research, just like that one way life, right?
Yeah.
But me, I was still looking for opportunities. Like I could still impact people. So for him now, I didn't tell him about my application to UNICEF, and I was telling another person who understood that part of me. So for Oprah, I have read about her, listened to her talk, and I've seen a lot of things that we have in common. So if I have the opportunity, I would want to hear more of things that he wouldn't put online, or
Okay.
things, that he would be able to share with me one
Okay.
on one.
No, she indeed is a very inspiring personality for sure. Yeah. So finally, Azeezat, describe Canada in one word or a sentence.
Land of opportunities.
So on that note, Azeezat, those are all my questions. Thank you so much for being on the podcast and adding value to my listeners. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you to everyone that will be listening to this today, or anytime you are listening to it.
Hey listener, thank you for making it to the end. I highly, highly appreciate you listening the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't as yet, and please share with your friends or anybody you think would like it. And like I always say, we encourage you to follow your heart, but also us on Instagram. The handle is mythicaccent. You can also leave us a review or write to us at hello@mythicaccent.com. So stay tuned and let's continue knowing each other beneath the accent.